Hi, good morning everybody. This is Sean Lynch and I thought I'd shoot an update video here regarding the Bitcoin halving event that's happening in 1 year. I noticed a lot of questions regarding the profitability of Bitcoin miners once the halving takes effect, which essentially cuts the block reward in half from 12.5 new Bitcoins every 10 minutes to 6.25, which is a great question. Now, miners are going to be incentivized to secure the Bitcoin blockchain for its entire existence, right? So if you think for a moment that a Bitcoin halving event is going to make Bitcoin mining unprofitable, that means that you don't believe in the long-term longevity of Bitcoin, right? Because if all the miners are not incentivized to mine and shut off, then there's no network, and no network, there's no Bitcoin. So what are we missing here? Why is Bitcoin mining going to remain profitable for those who take it seriously as a business, right? We covered that in my last couple of videos here. Not everybody who gets into Bitcoin mining is going to be profitable. Some are going to be more profitable than others because they pay attention to their operational costs, such as the the building that they're using, the price of the hardware that they're paying, the price of electricity, the number of staff, etc., etc. Those who just jump in guns blazing and don't worry about operational costs, they shut down pretty fast, especially when markets correct like they've done here during the bear market. So the one video I do recommend you watch about mining profitability is in our group here in Residual Income Club. Just search for this post here that I made on April 8th. It's a video by Andreas Antonopoulos titled Bitcoin Q&A, Mining, Energy Prices, and Fee Market. So I want to cover the fee market with you here. I drew a quick diagram showing you what the fee market is going to look like for Bitcoin. So back in 2009, when Bitcoin first launched, there was barely anybody using it, meaning that there was very little transactions going through, and meaning that you didn't have to pay very little or to no fees to transfer your Bitcoin from one account to the other. And that is labeled here in this green line. So back in 2009, transaction fees were pretty much zero. Now over time, as more and more people start using Bitcoin, it's because there's a block size limit, meaning there's a limit to how many transactions you can send in a block, which needs to be validated every 10 minutes, then people are going to have to compete using fees to get your transaction approved faster. So over time, as more and more people send and receive transactions on the Bitcoin network, the fees are going to have to start moving up because people are going to have to compete to get their transactions approved faster. People that want to send large amounts of money but don't really care how long it takes will pay little fees, and those who want to get their transaction pushed through like within the next 10 minutes, 20 minutes are going to have to pay a much larger fee. And the blue line designates the block reward. So in 2009, when Bitcoin just launched, the incentive for miners to mine Bitcoin was 50 new Bitcoin every 10 minutes. And then it's been happening, it's halved twice, right? Once to 25 Bitcoin, and now to the current period we're in at 12.5 Bitcoin. And over time it's going to keep happening roughly every 4 years until there's no new block rewards to be given once we've hit that 21 million cap around the year 2140. So you can see that even though the block reward gets halved, transaction fees go up when the network is being used. And we've seen this happen already. So those who've been around for over a year and a half, 2 years, have experienced the transaction fees in Bitcoin go up here. So I have a screenshot that I took. It's in the group here. I'll enlarge it. So these are block rewards from December 25th, 2017. This is at the point where Bitcoin's, here's another graph from the blockchain.info. If you zoom out, this graph is called total transaction fees. If you zoom out over a 2-year period, you can see that in November and December of 2017, the transaction fees spiked as high as, in a total day, 1,496 Bitcoin were paid in transaction fees for that day, which is the all-time high here in the last 2 years. And why were the transaction fees so high? Well, this goes back to what we covered in my last video, right? The price of Bitcoin. Where was the price back in December of 2017? Right here, all-time high, near $19,000. So when the price goes up, people start learning about Bitcoin, people jump into Bitcoin, more transactions occur, and which increases the transaction fees because there's a limited number of transactions that can be validated every 10 minutes on the Bitcoin network. And so this is why over time, Bit Club network, because we are debt free and we have, we're in the top 10% of the world right now, and our operational costs are low. Even if when the Bitcoin happens next year, we're not just going to shut down immediately because half the rewards are being mined. No, there's going to be, the block reward will have, yes. So instead of 12.5 new Bitcoin, like that we see here, like if you look at the blocks that were mined in the last couple of days here on May 20th, May 19th, the block reward was 12.5 Bitcoin plus 1.5 BTC in transaction fees, 12.5 plus 0.5, 12.5 plus 1.3. You can see that these transaction fees are already higher now that Bitcoin's in the $8,000 range than they were just a month ago when Bitcoin was in the $4,000 range, right? If you scroll all the way back down and go back to March, look at the transaction fees, 0.2, 0.2, 0.1, 0.08. You see how small the transaction fees are? Why? Because the price of Bitcoin is low during these periods and people are not using it as much. So in a year from now, if Bitcoin's having shocks the market, right? The market is used to having a certain amount of Bitcoin, 1,800 Bitcoins a day coming into circulation. The market is used to having some of those Bitcoins being liquidated, sold off by the miners to pay for their operational costs. But now overnight, there's a shock to the system, and now there's only 900 Bitcoins coming into the system, to the network every day. So that restricts the new supply, right? It's halved, essentially. But the demand is the same or is going to be greater than it is today. So greater demand or equal demand, but less new supply, price has to go up. So if the price goes up in Bitcoin, well, what happens? More people are aware of Bitcoin. More people learn about it. People want to get in to get rich, right? That's, it's not the right reason to get into Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is not a get rich quick scheme, but it is a new technology, and those who embrace it earlier will be rewarded if it does end up being used by the masses in a couple of years, right? So that's what's pretty exciting about Bitcoin, is that we're here in the front lines watching this unfold. We've got the right tools, the right resources to review. We've followed Andreas Antonopoulos for the last 2 years. He's got 200 plus hours on his YouTube video. Most likely you've all read the Bitcoin Standard. It's been recommended highly in this group. So guys, good things are coming. If you have any questions about the mining happening, just post it in the comments. And people have been asking me, so when do you think it's a good time to resume our shares? Well, we're gonna have to start seeing things change a little bit, right? We're gonna have to see the price rise significantly, perhaps maybe the number of blocks we mine go up, right? Because even though the price has gone up, if you look at the last couple months here, we've been mining the same amount of blocks roughly, right? Like 98 blocks here in February, 98 blocks in March, 114 in April, and May we're at 76 now, and we're at May 21st. So we're gonna have to see our total blocks start to increase, and that'll increase based on two factors, right? If we can increase our hash rate by adding more machines, or if the network difficulty drops, meaning that our competitors, other people on the network, are turning off their machines and the network difficulty starts to drop. These two factors would essentially increase the number of blocks we hit per month. So that would be one factor. The price of Bitcoin going up tremendously, like to $15,000, $20,000, that would be awesome, because then it would make the Bitcoins that we mine, we'd have to liquidate barely any of them to pay off for our operational expenses, meaning there'd be a lot more to share amongst the members. Things like that, guys. So there's so many factors at play here. So let's just wait out. Our new facility should be built by Q3, right? The notes, the back office updates did mention that Q3 will have some great updates. So, we're pretty late sometimes on the targets that we set, but we know what the goals are here. Our goals are to get a new facility that can house up to 400 megawatts of equipment up, which is debt-free, and then start lining up those racks with new machines that we can order from ourselves, because we've invested in our own proprietary technology, so we don't have to depend on Bitmain as the sole provider of our equipment. So things are going to start moving along here, I believe, by the end of the year. So let's just keep paused. Let's keep educating people about Bitcoin. Keep yourself informed about how mining works, and now's the time to be building your businesses, right? Because if you wait until the next bull run, right? If you wait till Bitcoin hits $50,000 or $100,000, then you've pretty much missed out on all the gains, right? Everyone who's in Bitcoin or in BitClub Network made all of their money because they were in before the runs, right? Before the bull runs. You don't make money joining at peaks, right? And a lot of people in this group have kind of felt that, because a lot of people joined BitClub or bought their first Bitcoins in November or December of 2017 at its all-time high, and now are feeling a sting or a pain because the price has corrected itself after that bull run. So just keep that in mind, guys. The real money is made by taking action before bull runs. So with that, I'm going to let you go. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave the comments. And I'll see you guys next time.